or CKRZ FM.
Woohoo! It's Friday. Not that that really matters for those of us that have been staying at home, because one day kind of just runs into the next. But it being Friday, that also means we have our update to provide to you from Six Nations Elected Council. And we'd like to welcome Chief Mark Hill in the house.
Yes. Good morning, how are you?
Staying on the right side of the dirt, I'm happy to say. When you have your health, you have everything, I'll tell you.
I agree.
Yes. So some very good things taking place this week, eh?
Yes, yeah, so I'm here to provide just a quick update on a couple items. One first being an update on just discussions that we're having on how to better support our businesses during this time. And the other one is obviously, as you know, Bird and Cheese is up and coming this Monday, so I'm going to provide just an update on that. But before I do, I just wanted to say good morning and Sego, and I hope this message and update finds everyone healthy and safe at home. I also want to thank Councillor Nathan Wright for providing the update for me last week. So again, I wanted to just I'll touch base first and foremost on just the process and the conversations that we've been having with both the provincial and federal governments regarding our businesses and support, how we can best support our businesses during this time. As you may be aware, there was an announcement from the federal government that had announced that funding was coming down for Indigenous businesses across this country. And unfortunately, you know, what we've been doing and working with is to try to work on the criteria of how a business can apply for those funds. It's obviously been looked, and I know it's in the community as already, in terms of it be administered by Two Rivers. But the problem that we're seeing is that through the Aboriginal finance institutions, that you have to be a client of that, and the majority of our businesses aren't. And so, you know, what we're seeing is that they don't meet that criteria, which in return means that they're not going to be fully supported. So we've been making those headways, both with the provincial and federal governments, just on looking at those criteria changes and how to best support those funds. But I think, you know, what we need to continue to do in terms of the advocacy, we've worked in partnership with both with Two Rivers Development as well as our Economic Development Corporation to develop a business stimulus package, and that has since been complete and forwarded on to the federal government. It's specific business stimulus to Six Nations, again, in how we could best advocate for our businesses during this time. Again, what we also want to talk with, and it's going to be forthcoming this upcoming Tuesday at our General Finance meeting, in regards to how can we support businesses in the now. We know and understand, you know, the impacts that COVID-19 has had on our community and our business community, and you know, we understand and realize the frustration as well with our business owners, and so, you know, we want to really be able to advocate, you know, as best as we can. As you've heard from our previous updates, you know, we've been best advocating for our students in terms of the iPads and things like that, getting back to the educational piece for that. You know, we've looked to, again, making sure that we're consistently checking in on our elders as much as we can as well. In addition to that, you know, we need to also look to how we're supporting our businesses and business community. So again, you know, we'll be having a forthcoming update next week, just on those conversations that come out of General Finance in regards to what we can be doing to help businesses in the now. You know, we don't want to make it as a strenuous application process. You know, we want to make things as simplified as possible, given that there's already so much confusion and frustration out there, that, you know, our goal is to make it as simplified as best as we can. So again, you know, I want to really reiterate the fact that, you know, we've completed our stimulus package to the federal government, and again, you know, we're going to continue to advocate as best as we can on their behalf. And again, you know, what we're saying and doing is, like, you know, we realize and understand, like, just even, you know, it's not just, we realize and understand the importance of our industries here, our tobacco industry being one of those. But again, it's a businesses across the board that we need to assist and help. And again, we'll be having forthcoming more details specific into the now and how we can help in terms of potential setup of an emergency fund to be able for our small business to be able to apply for, and again, so that it would be specific to Six Nations. So we're doing our best as diligent as we can. You know, we're working around the clock. Conversations are happening on the daily and weekly, again, still with both the provincial and federal government. And again, I just want to reiterate the fact that, you know, even with what we're trying to do in a sense of what our phases look like up to the reopening of the economy, obviously, you know, the last thing that we want is an influx of traffic. So we have to be very methodical. We have to be very strategic as to what those phases look like in the details of each phase. I think the most important piece is going to be the timeline that's attached to each phases. Again, we're still in those conversations, kind of looking to those details. Again, we want to be able to work with businesses, you know, in terms of looking to set in the health and safety measures that need to be in place. Obviously, you know, businesses that have already been deemed essential have been practicing those measures, you know, still looking to social distancing. You know, I see at times there's, you know, still 2 in per store at convenience stores, things like that. Washing stations, hand sanitizing, constantly washing down commonly touched areas within your business. So again, you know, I know a lot of these businesses, and we're grateful for those businesses who have been already practicing those measures and have put those measures in place in order that we can do business healthy while still making sure we're keeping the priority of our members, their health and safety as the top priority. So again, you know, as we look to what that phased approach looks like, again, we know we want to do our best to be open and transparent, and we want to be able to have these conversations with our business people and with our business community. And again, you know, we have to be able to best advocate on their behalf, because as we know, it's been a huge impact, you know, not just here in terms of our economy, but, you know, what's happening in this country, what's happening across the globe. Again, you know, we're looking to, again, have it in a very methodical and strategic way. I think, you know, like that is the most important piece. You know, there's been conversations around, even as well, we see from our health officials, of the potential of a second wave, you know, and what that looks like. And, you know, we need to be able to also plan for that and to be inclusive into those phased approach as to, you know, what would happen in the sense of the second wave comes, and then what do we revert back to at that sense. So, you know, we need to be very open and transparent with our business communities, our community rather. And again, you know, I think for myself and for council, having these discussions, you know, we're working diligently daily, again, to make sure that we're laying out the best possible plan, in that our phased approach is, again, going to be very strategic. And again, the timeline is going to be everything. The timeline and approach to what that looks like, again, it's going to be in conjunction with our emergency control group, obviously under you know, public health and our health guidance and direction, and look to those phases on how we can best proceed in the most safest manner. So I just wanted to provide a quick update to, you know, to let our businesses know that, you know, we are working on their behalf, you know, that they're not forgotten about. We are diligently doing our best, and we want to be able to provide to the businesses that have been, you know, been losing and have lost revenues during this COVID-19 time. So again, you know, I'll provide a further update from our general finance meeting, which is this upcoming Tuesday. I believe we're having these radio shows every Friday. So I'll continue to do more updates as more information becomes available. Again, you know, in terms of how and what those phases look like, again, we need our community's input. You know, we need the community's feedback, and we all still need to be together on this, right? I mean, I think, you know, we've come a long way. As you're aware, we still are at currently 0 active cases. We know we're not out of the clear yet, and we know that we still have to maintain what we've been doing. And so that leads me into my next update regarding bread and cheese. And again, I wanted to thank Councillor Nathan Wright for providing the update and Council's decision to move forward with bread and cheese. I know there was a bit of confusion out there in terms of, you know, people thinking that it was the normal bread and cheese where we would gather at the arena and so forth. But again, what we're doing is, you know, we're thinking innovatively and creatively, all while taking the measures and safety guidelines that have been put in place. So again, we felt that, in the conversations within council, it was definitely back and forth, is it on, is it off? But what we really felt at the time, is that we wanted to see, in a sense, a little bit of normalcy, right? We haven't seen that in quite some time, and we feel that, with the upcoming bread and cheese, that this is a time that, when our community gathers, and, we obviously, we know we can't gather at this point in time, so we are looking to deliver the bread and cheese to each of your homes. So again, just to go over the steps, and I know this was mentioned last week, just in terms of there will be 4 delivery routes throughout the territory. Deliveries will begin, each route will begin from roughly around 9 a.m. to 9:15. I ask that you follow our social media pages to have a detailed map here, which is also going to be launched on our social media pages and website, of the details of those routes and approximate times that you should expect your bread and cheese to your laneway. Again, just to go over a couple notes. Again, we will adhere to the health and safety measures, including physical distancing, face masks, gloves, utilizing sanitizer, and we're minimizing minimizing the number of volunteers. So on each route, we're going to maintain, obviously, again, still in collaboration with public health. We're going to continue to work with our environmental health officer, Peter Hill, of Oswego Public Health, and as well as our health services director, to ensure that we are adhering to the proper guidelines. Again, we will be delivering the bread and cheese to your home. Again, volunteers from both the Six Nations Agriculture Society as well as the Farmers Association are generously donating their time and equipment to provide trucks and trailers so that we can travel throughout the community for the delivery. Again, we're also doing a partnership with Cool Kids that are, again, generously donating their refrigerated vans to store the bread and cheese and travel the routes alongside with our wagons. Again, what we've wanted to do and look to this piece is to kind of have, a little bit of the old-fashioned ways of things, and we thought that this is a time to bring, some community spirit, and so that, a day to lift each other up and just to take a little break of COVID-19 and have some sort of, again, community spirit, and so that we can continue our fight against COVID-19. Again, each household will receive 1 loaf of bread that will be bagged, along with their cheese that will be individually wrapped. I want to stress again that this is 1 per home. You must have a basket, cooler, bucket, or some other container at the end of your laneway for you, and as well as you or a family member must be in close proximity. We will not leave bread and cheese unless we see a container and a person that container belongs to. The last thing that we want is bread and cheese all over the territory. So again, we're making sure that people are out, or a container is out, and that way we could safely leave your bread and cheese. Again, we ask that you please ensure that your animals are taken care of and tied up before bread and cheese, or that, again, the people delivering that we want to make sure that all safety concerns are covered. We will have the police as well in front of each of our routes, again, just to ensure that safety. The route, again, each 4 routes, which will be on our social media pages, the map of the detailed approximate time that you should see our volunteers as well as myself and counselors out there delivering bread and cheese. So again, we ask that you watch our social media and continue to listen to the updates. Again, we really wanted to look to really bring community spirit. As we know, bread and cheese is a time that our families come together. We have visitors from outside the community. Unfortunately, we can't do that at those times. However, we feel that this time that we could take a little break and we can have somewhat of a celebration in a sense, in a most safe manner. Again, as as we approach the long weekend, I have to reiterate that we're still in this COVID-19 response. We still have to make sure we're making sure that we're following the guidelines that we've put in place in public health social distancing, no large gatherings, all things like that. So, again, we want to keep in mind that, the process that we've developed and the routes, again, nothing is perfect, and, we're definitely going to be trying our very best. As a little added bonus, councillors Michelle Bombery and Wendy Johnson are donating 2,500 vegetable plants. And although it's a small token, one plant will be given to each household as well, in addition to the bread and cheese. Again, we wanted to look to how we could, again, look to bringing up our community spirit. And, we really thank our frontline workers, really thank all of our staff, our essential services, our checkpoint securities, at this point in time to really, give ourselves a pat on the back and all the work that we've been doing collectively together. And I think, again, just with this, with bread and cheese, we want to be able to again do this safely while still being able to have a little bit of fun on Monday. So we're looking forward to this upcoming Monday for bread and cheese. Obviously doing it in a very creative and innovative way of how we are now in this COVID-19 time. Again, we're really looking to that piece, and we really just want our community to be able to help us celebrate our frontline workers. And I think that's going to be a huge, again, small token, but a huge thank you to all of our essential workers and services, and again, all of our people who have been maintaining to continue Project Protect Our People. Again, that's just, so I would ask you again to follow our social media page for the detailed map and routes. Again, there are 4 routes that will begin from anywhere from 9 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. at each starting point. So again, I ask you to stay safe, stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing as many as we can for this upcoming bread and cheese on Monday.
Thank you very much, Chief Hill.
Thank you.
And on behalf of everybody in your community, I'm sure that we are all grateful that your councilor are taking the time to work on Monday to bring them bread and cheese. As you said, a small token, but a great way to get our minds off of the pandemic.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
And we look forward to hearing the results of next week's finance meeting.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks again, Chief Hill.
Thank you.